Let me say this for the record. I have no intentions at all of trying to talk bad, not even one bit, when I discuss, just my friendships with, you know, all my friends. Just any friends that I discuss that are noteworthy of talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, maybe some of my wording may be a little bit misled, even on some of the titles, but it's not like, you know, for the most part, I try to explain my case, when I do talk about as far as like the strengths and weaknesses. And when it comes to the weaknesses part, obviously, I always try to make sure that's on me, because I'm the one that, based on my history of what I've done with a lot of these friends that I lost. I'm talking about ex close friends. Is I always have to make sure I'm the one that is responsible for what has happened. You know, for example, with my friendships with Shy and Kriza and Rhea. You know, those are ex close friends. I was really close with them, and now all of a sudden you know, they're they're out of my circle, at least until I get a new job. If that's for damn sure. You know, but for the most part, I never ever ever. And look, I know at my worst day, if I'm not having it, I know there's been few friends I really, really, really just, had to vent and really highlight all of their bad moments toward me, like, but in the end, ultimately, that's my fault. So when I talk about those friends, like, I would never, ever highlight anything bad. Like, I would never say, like, oh, yeah, this friend did this to me because, he was, or she was like, you know, criticizing me for because she was that. It's her fault that I felt weak, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Or it's his fault that I became this, that I cried, No, I don't do that. As much as possible, I remember Araceli used to say, in quote, keep it professional. So look, I mean, it's at the end of the day, man. I do my best to just be a good friend. I know in my heart of hearts, and I am still a good friend, right? And I provide the best services I could to especially who I have left, and as much as possible, like especially when I want to discuss my friendships with anyone, even some of my closest friends, I don't ever try to highlight anything bad. Like I'm not like out here to just, you know, let's say for example, like uh like with Dewey, for example, oh yeah, he's he's this and that, he's always asking for so much money because he never wants to have a job. He's a bum, this and that. No, like maybe like I always try to like as much as possible keep it to where like I highlight what the struggles may be within the friendships. I'm not talking about them, their personality. I'm talking about within the friendships. That I always make sure that's on me, right? I never want to say like, you know, if I say trying hard, that's because it's me. That not because it's let's say it's Mari's fault, or it's it's Russ's fault, this and that this friendship was like you know trying hard. And I mean, when I say trying hard, that doesn't mean it's like it's struggling that it's so bad that it never worked out. you know I'm not saying that. And maybe like some of the wording may have been like misled that way, but for the most part, I never ever ever try to to make anything bad to where it's like I make my friendships look really bad. No, you know, yeah, like even the friendships that I discussed where they have ended, it's like I never want to highlight anything bad, like especially on how the friendship closes out. Like I always have to highlight the good. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, thank you for this, thank you for that. I just wish her all the best, or I wish him all the best, this and that. I remember we did this, and it was a great memory, this and that. Hell, I remember when I talked about Jesse, dude. I didn't talk about what happened in 2015. I mean, I remember we did the bridge to nowhere, like before that one incident. But shoot, I mean, I remembered to talk about the time that he saved me from the mountain, because that showed what a brother he was, at the time. And mind you, we just met at the time. So look, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to talk bad about, you know, about anyone. Like when I discuss my friendships with topics, you know what I'm saying? Or just like, it's maybe like it's my word choice that may be a problem, but it's not like I'm trying to make it seem like the friendships are just so bad that I just not like I'm trying to intend to diminish their value as a friend. No, I don't do that. So I mean, some may be misunderstood, and again, it might just be my word choice, but for the most part, like when I do talk about you know my friendships, it's like, of course we're always gonna have these great memories, and that's what makes great friendships. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not trying to slander anyone, not at all. I never do that. I never have any intentions of doing that at all, because I always do my best to be a good friend like that, and to where I highlight as much as possible all the good moments, all the great times. And even if I want to highlight something to where it may seem pretty annoying, but like annoying, not, I mean, not annoying, like as in it makes me angry and all that, but like I kind of want to clown about it, right? But in the end, I always have to make sure that's on me. So I'm the one that, like, as far as like the friendship functionality, how sometimes I can be a real goofball, and just my overly weird behavior, character, personality, to where you know that there's sometimes that that the friendship may be questioned, but it's not like I'm trying to ever intend for to diminish our friendships like that. No, of course not. I wouldn't. And even if some of those friendships have struggled and have come to an end, like with Tristan, for example, I don't like, I'm not trying to say Tristan has already been a bad friend because he left me. No, not like that. You know, of course, that dude was my neighbor, and that was a longtime brother, and we've done so much together, and he was one of my impact friends. There's only a couple of them that I know at the time. You know, so it's things like that. Like, I don't want any of these friends, like, especially, you know, the ones that they're remaining as they listen to this, that I'm trying to talk bad about them. No, of course not. I wouldn't. So if I talked about when I talked about Dewey, like I never said he was like, I mean, I joked to say he was just a bum because he didn't have no job. But I mean, he's not a bum in general. He's not. That's a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the ballers I have are good dudes. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not trying to be like that. I just want to make that clear on my end. So I mean, I hope I got my point across, because I just want to make this quick before I head to my dump, because I know I got some more content to drop. So that being said, you all let me know what you think. I don't want anyone, just like any friends that are listening to this, I don't want them to be misunderstood that I'm trying to slander them and all that. So that's not my intention. Maybe the word choice may just be misled, but for the most part, I do my best to just highlight a lot of the good and just balance it out. Even if there was some misunderstandings, I always try to make it to where it's me that's responsible for some of that. You know what I'm saying? I never make it to where it's their fault. So I just thought I'd get it out there, and so let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys later. I head to my dump right now. You know how our day's gonna go. Huh.